Hello, welcome to our show. This is Connor. I'll be the host here with my fellow co-hosts, Joel. Say hello.
What's up?
Chris. Say
Hello.
hi. So what we're doing
Howdy.
is we're making a little show here. It is what it is. We're going to be reviewing cartoons, maybe some other TV shows, but strictly for this episode and this series, the first run is going to be of the animated Donkey Kong Country television show, which was quite a gem. It's something. So if you have ever watched that show or you're interested, you like Donkey Kong, this will be a treat for you because it is
Fate worse than death.
totally canon in the Donkey Kong arc. So it'll be great.
Absolutely canon.
Absolutely everything about it. They got barrels, they got stuff,
Bananas.
but if there's one thing they have,
They
I
got
can tell you.
bluster.
Candy. Everyone remember candy. All right, so we're gonna just go through real quick. Obviously, this is going on impromptu, which is the 17th dead channel I've made in my life, but we're gonna put it on there. So, as far as like what videos I've made on the channel, pretty much everything that's terrible. So anything bad on the channel is mine. But that's I made
Do you have any unboxing?
I made one good video, okay, one, and no one liked it. It was a Smash Bros. Video, and if you ever get a chance, shameless self-plug, you watch that Smash Bros. Video. It was good. But so enough about me. Here is Joel. Oh, wait, we were supposed to list our favorite item from Taco Bell, and mine is the freeze, and I get it almost every happy hour, which is between 2 and 5. And the secret to the freeze is, okay, you get the freeze, you order it, you put it in your car, right? Yeah, natural. You don't take a drink of the freeze till you get home because you want the little melt slush at the bottom.
A little bit of slush.
You
Yeah.
drink it right away,
Oh.
your head's gonna hurt. Guaranteed.
Absolutely.
So Joel, tell us a little about yourself. Tell us. So I grew up watching the show just a real small amount. I had some VHSs and whatnot.
We
Same
had a
with
vet
Chris.
stupid VHS, yes.
Same with Chris, who was my brother, right? It was like one of those legendary VHSs that was a different color, so you instantly thought it was better because it was yellow. It was like,
Like Rugrats, the movie.
Orange, yeah, okay. But so I have some experience going into it. Joel, please tell us a little about yourself and a little bit about the show.
Hey, I'm Joel. I'm also part of Impromptu with Connor. So yeah, if you want to look through that, all the other bad videos that aren't his were probably mine. And there's a couple in there that we did together that those came out all right, I guess. But most of the bad ones were us trying to do things by ourselves. But no, I'm really interested in trying to get going with this Donkey Kong show because I literally have never seen this until Connor brought this up. He's like, "Hey, I want to do this like show where we talk about this Donkey Kong show." And I was like, "I have no idea what you're talking about." So I went and watched the first episode, and I had quite a bit of thoughts. I am very concerned because I had no clue this was a thing, and I still don't have a clue why it's a thing. That's my biggest question after watching it. Is just why.
Can I interject? It's like we're dogging it right now, but I will tell you, I love this show. I love it.
I'm sure I only watched episode 1.
It's something. But
I'm sure as we go along, there'll be some sort of weird way that I love it. But
dude, it just gives you pure brain cancer, and it's like it just sucks you into the void. The more you watch it, the bigger the
I'm sure
the mind tumor gets.
But yeah, and then my favorite Taco Bell item is the extinct enchilada that they won't even make it off menu anymore. So
oh my god,
they killed the double decker,
which sucks. So I guess a Doritos Locos Taco, I guess. But yeah, that's
which one though? Like, come on.
I really liked the fiery one. The flaming hot one was so good, except it was like hotter than I expected. But whatever.
Boo.
All right.
And you, Chris?
Chris, spill the beans.
My name's Chris. I'm a big loser.
Don't tell us stuff we already know. See, Chris is here because he's using this master's degree for justice for once. So
the only good thing I've ever done with my master's degree.
Research the Donkey Kong.
Yeah, researching the lore. You guys are your brains are gonna explode when I start telling you.
I can't wait.
Just poison. Yeah, no, I don't make videos on YouTube. The only time I used it was for a project in college, and you shouldn't watch it because it's a really bad video that's in Spanish.
Comida.
Dos minutos comidas. Por favor. Ay, caliente.
Was it a German project?
Yep. How'd you know?
Chojuken. Anyways, Favorite Taco Bell item? I'm gonna split some hairs here, and I'm gonna say also a defunct burrito, the cheesy potato burrito.
Yeah, that was a good one. The beef
That was a good
cheesy
one.
potato was pretty fire.
Everyone loves the potato items at Taco
They're
Bell, and I
delicious.
swear I don't think I've ever had one.
Dude,
You've never had the Fiesta potatoes,
what
dude?
about even?
Well,
Did you try the nacho fries?
yeah, I hate nacho fries. I
No,
am
I gotta go.
strongly
I gotta
against
hang up. I
nacho
gotta
fries,
go.
but that's not the topic of this show here. That's for another time.
Joyous. Let's get into this then,
Okay,
eh?
so I'm gonna preference it. The Donkey Kong Country cartoon. Obviously, it does not follow the video game. That would be so ridiculous, right? Because it was a 2D platformer from the early '90s. But in all honesty, like this, given the whole premise and everything, the lore, you have cool characters, you have some cool sets and designs you could use from the game and everything, and that's fine and dandy and whatnot. So I think all things considered, they didn't have a ton to work with, but so they make this premise, right? And I'm gonna go brief. I'm gonna kind of discuss just real briefly, like an intro to the series, and then the episode, and then Chris is gonna take over and he's gonna talk about. He did some background of the voice
man.
actors, and I gotta know, like I
Oh, man.
gotta know. So,
Get ready.
you know, like more or less, the whole show is King K. Rool trying to get what is the well, I guess, and I have a note here, like, it's so ridiculous because they're all trying to get the crystal coconut, right? But it's ridiculous because it's a total joke, but it literally does anything and everything the plot needs. Now, mind
It's the
you,
Deus Ex Machina of business.
and you have to time out here because this is a kid show. Now, I don't mean like a tween show or a young adult show, like teenagers to 18. I mean, this is probably like 10 and below. Like it's a real like children's show. Now, with that being said, they hold no punches, and like there's pot jokes, there's adult humor, there is like everything.
Yeah.
Like the
There's
writing is
BDSM jokes in the
like,
first episode.
like literally
Yeah.
all over the, and we'll get there. We'll get there. So you got to stick with us here. And but you know, I mean, all things considered, I think they did an okay job. Now, the innocent talking point we're all gonna say, if you've never watched the show, which by the way, we're doing this specifically because this is free on YouTube. I'll put a link in the description if you want to watch along with us, and it's gonna be the animation. The animation is that mid '90s. They're still figuring out 3D animation. So it's frightening at times. Like the eyes will be crossed or like looking.
God, the
into
eyes.
The
Oh
The
my
eyes.
God.
I have like 8 notes on this about the eyes.
Yeah, and so like they are like literally looking at a character, but it's like they're doing the 1,000-yard stare, just like looking into their soul, and you're like,
It's like their eyes are like separate geometry from the rest of the
From
body.
the rest of the body, it's
I mean,
completely.
look at it though. The eyes aren't sunken in the head; they're out. They're
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 cartoon.
all out.
They're-
They're their own layer.
So it is what it is. I mean, the first episode I'm going to run through really, really quick here. They do a lot of like exposition, right? So you're like blah blah blah. Cranky, which by the way might be my favorite character, is like crystal coconut. He's like the raspiest. I've eaten cigarettes for breakfast for a year.
You mean exposition the character?
Yeah, literally.
That's what Cranky's there for. He is strictly to drive the plot forward. Like he serves no purpose except regarding the coconut, right? Which by the way,
first 2 minutes, I was like, "What is happening? Who's he talking to? What is going on?"
yeah, and by the way, it's like he's there guarding the coconut, which everyone knows where it is. It's not hidden at all.
Yeah.
Literally the
Just
villain
right in the
walks
middle.
right towards it because he's like, I know where it is. And so we're getting ahead of ourselves, right? But so you know the coconut, blah blah blah, introduces the villains. King K. Rool and General Clump are gonna be your villains. You know, Donkey Kong. Yeah. And so Donkey Kong comes along, which more exposition is like he's the most strongest ape. They love saying Congo Bongo, which is where this is taking place, right?
Banana Slam.
Congo Bongo. That's right, Congo Bongo. So, you know, DK is the rightful heir to the throne of Congo Bongo because he's like strong and sexy,
And he found the crystal coconut.
right.
Yeah.
And so that gets introduced. The villains get squashed. The villains come up with a plan. The plan is successful. They steal the coconut. Blah blah blah. It involves DK. DK gets it back. Episode over. You find out that DK has a love interest named Candy, which is, and I'm quoting here, Candy has replaced the whale in my nightmare, Yarg. So I think Candy is God's biggest mistake. So yeah, Candy is a mistake because she is nightmare fuel again from the creepy animation. It's just
He's
I think
not
this is the first time in my life that I've wanted less candy.
yeah, like I mean,
Boo.
Boo!
boo this man. Anyway, so Chris did some homework. He's gonna tell us a little bit about the voice acting real quick and the history kind of behind that. So let's let that master's degree shine.
Professor
First off,
Chris.
So they got the rights from Nintendo and Rare to do this, right? And it's fully mocapped. You kept asking if it was mocap. It's mocap. The only animations are like some of the like backgrounds, the buildings, and the eyes, right? Obviously, you can't mocap an eye.
This mother.
Try
This guy
me.
talking about the buildings aren't mocapped. I sure as hell hope they.
Yeah, right. Well, obviously, it's a French Canadian production company. Now, here's where
Strike
it gets.
one.
No, hold on. Buckle in. Okay. It is written by the writer of the first name by Nadine van der Velde, who has won 3 Emmys for Roly Poly Oly. This is
Hey,
written
Hey,
by an
hey,
Emmy
solid.
Award winner,
Solid.
I'll drink to that.
right? So part of it was this development was attached to the writing of Donkey Kong 64. So it played a role in the creation of like some of
They
the
look
characters.
similar for sure.
Yeah, right. So there's a reason why.
Okay.
Okay, DK is voiced by Richard Yearwood, who is a British voice actor who does a lot of work in England and in Canada. He's pretty long filmography, long career. Here's where it gets fun.
I'm ready.
Diddy is voiced by Andrew Sebastian, I believe is how you pronounce his name, who voiced Yoshi in Super Mario World. You can look that up. Yeah,
Super Mario World.
yeah, dude. Okay, here's where it gets real crazy. Cranky is voiced by Aaron Traeger, who is Zebo and the Carnival Barker from Are You Afraid of the Dark?
He had okay. The first time you hear Cranky's voice, it just sounds familiar. Whether it's the
Yeah.
uncle that beat you when you were a child or something from a cartoon, it sounds familiar.
Okay. But most importantly, his highest credit goes to starring in the failed Comedy Central show Lil Bush, if y'all remember that, Lil Bush.
Mm-hmm.
King K.
Nightmares.
Rool is voiced by Benedict Campbell, and he did Ganon in the voice of
He's very
Legend of Zelda, the cartoon.
That's a discount Seth MacFarlane for you, sir.
It's funny because he's always bringing up Seth MacFarlane. I was like, this is before Family, way before. Well,
Yeah.
not way
I know.
before, but years before. Yeah.
But what's interesting is actually all the actors do all the singing, so there's no different voice actors.
I could
who
tell.
sing.
Oh yeah.
God.
By the way, I forgot
Yeah.
to bring up in this show. It's a kids show. Do you want to know how they love singing and they love
Just singing
busting out
it
the
in
songs at the
nowhere.
most random times too. They'll be
Yeah,
like,
Yeah.
"Plateau,"
I got
start
some notes on
singing.
that.
We'll
Don't
talk about
worry.
the episode 1 song.
Hey.
And that's about it. I mean, the one
Uh,
that really blew my mind was the 3-time Emmy Award winner writing and directing the first episode. Thank
Hey,
you.
Roly Poly-Oly's a gem. So.
Now that I know it's Canadian, this makes sense. But the person who voices no,
Hold on here.
it goes with this point.
Hold on here.
The person who the person who voiced Candy was the mom on Life with Derek, the Disney Channel show, and that show was super Canadian. Like
Oh
they
my
would say like a
God,
boot
yeah.
and stuff all the time. They'd be like, oh, I'm sorry and stuff. So it was like, I was like, once I saw that it was her, I was like, oh, okay. And then you said, oh, it's a Canadian show. I was like, oh, okay. Now it makes even more sense.
That makes sense because I remember in the first episode in Congo Bongo they were talking about the universal health care. So now I
Yeah,
get
it's
it.
like
Yeah, I remember when they had the coconut milk in a bag.
Yeah, the maple syrup. Yeah. Okay. So let's just jump right in. I'm gonna keep it, guys, because we're having some technical problems. I'm gonna keep an eye on the counter, and I'll kind of when it's near the stop time, we'll stop and then pick it
give
back
us
up.
some
So-
sort of like little like indiscreet signal, like
Right, so like I'll be like banana salama.
llama.
So anyways, we're gonna hop right into episode 1 now. We've done the exposition. We are cranky enough. We need to get right into the meat and potatoes here. So let's talk about it here. I mean, if I start off by saying I do like the voice acting. I think it's the only thing that carries this show. Anything past being a real stinker, for sure. And particularly Cranky, Diddy, Donkey Kong, and King K. Rool. I think all of those guys are pretty
Bluster's
good.
awesome. Don't take anything away from
Bluster's
Bluster.
fun
God.
too, but I mean, I can't get over his monobrow. So anyway, so
Yes.
we start the episode, and it is just strictly Cranky, just describing
Singing.
everything.
He's just singing the blues, dude. He's a great
everything
blues
you
pianist.
missed out because it's a brand new show, and of course you don't know anything, so he's gonna fill you in, right?
Let me tell you the whole show.
Bum, 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 bum. Music's pretty fire in the show, I might add, too. I don't know why it is. It doesn't need to be that good, but actually, I think we all need to talk about the elephant in the room, or should I say Donkey Kong's absolute dump truck ass, because
Yeah, I don't like. What's the deal?
So he like moves in those big bodacious, like, it's Wednesday, the sun is out, like, put that thing away, like, you getting all the apes.
4 minutes
on
and
the
55
island.
seconds is the first time we get introduced to those.
Dude, when Cranky's like, let me introduce you to Donkey Kong, and he like shows him in the coconut, like it doesn't even start with him facing forward. Literally the very first thing you see is the backside of Donkey Kong, and it's just like, okay, this is
Hold on,
who
man.
this character is.
Dude, in a minute 35 on the YouTube video, I had to replay it 3 times because he's like, he's the strongest, most handsomest, hippest ape. And it literally sounds like he's the pimpest ape I've ever seen. And I was like, wait, hold on. I had to keep pressing replay. I was like, what's going on here?
I had to do that a few times, but it's for some quotes that we'll get to later. But so let's move right in. So instantly we get introduced to the all-powerful, all-plot-driven Crystal Coconut and
Crystal
DK's supremacy as the future ruler of what? Congo Bongo, that's right.
Bongo.
So we get it's like it gets crammed down your throat, and then instantly the villain of the show comes up, and he has his
Yeah.
Kremlin
Hold
army,
on.
right?
Cranky just goes like, oh, by the way, we have like a mildly racist, segregated society. Like, these are crocodile people, they're not allowed
Yeah,
to rule.
they're down in their cave, and that's where they
Where they
belong.
belong.
You're like, hey, buddy, not right now, please. Anyway, so yeah, the villains get introduced, and again, they're like, okay, do the villains, particularly King K. Rool, who has the most Joey's World Tour figure, like seriously, the longest gut ever. He walks with so much girth, like you can hear and feel his steps, which is, I don't know if it's good or bad, but it's a thing. So they come in, and what
They
are they
just
have
walk
here?
in there. There's literally
Literally nothing. Like,
And they're going
powerful
to steal the Crystal
aspect of
Coconut, right?
Congo. And here it is. Come take it.
let's just walk up and take. Yeah, like Cranky's only defense is to yell Donkey Kong. Like he doesn't have any form of defense for himself. Like in case DK's like not available or something, it's like, oh well, I guess you could just take it today.
And they're
Take-
so
take-
far away, and they're there instantly, right? And of
Yeah.
course they foil them, right? I have to say though, it's they use this weapon a lot, and they call it the clap traps, which I was like,
Hold
on.
Borderlands is all. I didn't
And-
steal nothing.
Dude, in 247, like General Clum goes, shoot down that big target, and then the like, crocodile aims it at his
Claptraps,
belly, and he's like, not me, the other big target. I was like, an immediate self-own of the bad guy, like just
Yeah.
right off the bat.
Make sure you remember they're goofy, which I also put. General Clump has the most sidewinder, bodacious titties you've ever seen. Which why? Why are his titties ginormous and like hanging
Dude.
down the sides of his bodies? Why?
Well, like I'm almost more uncomfortable with K. Rool's butt than I am with DK. Because
K.
K.
Rool-
Rool has like this weird butt that seems like it's on his lower back, and then he doesn't have a tail. Like in my notes, I put K. Rool's butt is above his tail, and then I realized, oh no, he doesn't have a tail. Like,
Also, if you want a good timestamp, I have at 2:33. King K. Rool has some ass eyes going, like he's supposed to be staring directly at General Clump, but he's presumably staring off to a better show.
Order you to seize the coconut! Critters!
Joel, did you have something to say here, bud?
no, I realized something right now. Another show that we had talked about doing with this series was 16, and I just remembered that's also a Canadian show.
What the
We're on to
heck?
something here, dude. Let's do Trailer Park Boys next.
Yeah,
Sick.
so I guess we're just doing all Canadian shows.
Yeah, we'll do Are You Afraid of the Dark next as well, which is also a Canadian show.
So, anyways, so moving on, right? DK foils King K. Rool's first.
Hold on. DK like murders Diddy.
Which I was gonna say,
he like hits him and like he breaks his spine and he walks out of the bell and he's just like, okay, DK. And
I don't know my own strength.
dude, DK sounds like a knockoff Kel Mitchell with like a New York Caribbean accent. It's crazy.
Dude, I hate DK's voice. Honestly, I wrote
Aw,
Donkey
don't
Kong
sip that hater.
raspy and weird. Hey man, I'm Donkey Kong. It's
Yeah,
like,
I'm
what is
waiting
this?
to be like,
Come on,
welcome to
buddy.
the good
You just-
burger. Over the
you-
good burger.
You know what?
Like,
Joel
well-
is just jealous because he's not going to be the future ruler of Congo Bongo.
Like literally,
Oh my god.
I'm pretty sure him like basically murdering Diddy Kong is just their way of being like, we have to show somehow that Donkey Kong's really strong because his giant gorilla stature doesn't tell you that enough.
Um,
Let's have him murder like a little chimpanzee.
And,
Forget
like, when
just
they-
Diddy, I literally have. He's literally killing the Kremlins. Like he's knocking
Yeah.
them off giant
Yeah.
platforms, and they're
Dude,
falling to their
fucking
death.
fucking
And
trap.
to confirm that, it later, almost instantly, you have the cast it off. You're not allowed with the apes, Kremlins in their cave. And General Klump's like, sorry, but all of our men have been defeated. I'm like, see, they killed them. They
They're
literally
just
killed
committing
them.
genocide. And like, dude, the traps are like literally like mousetrap. He's like, let me jump on this spring. What?
Yeah.
What is happening? And they're just walking like mindless drones, and they just fly into their death. Apparently,
Yeah, I also have, and maybe you can agree because you can't not agree. There are and I get it's a kid's show, way too many banana puns, banana jokes, anything.
That's
banana.
all
you didn't
it
realize
is.
the catchphrase was banana slammer?
Like,
Dude,
I'm okay
everything's
with the
made out of
catchphrase
bananas.
being banana slammer. What I'm not okay with is just every other word or every other situation seems to be banana related, and I can't get behind that. So DK defeats them. We're now literally where we can confirm that he murdered those Kremlins, right?
Yeah.
And then the best angle I think of the show is King K. Rool turning his incel glasses on and becoming like stupid Donkey Kong Chad, bro, getting all the babes, and he's like literally holding two women up there, and he's like, "I'm sick of this, bro. Like I can't be dealing with this." So he
Through voodoo, tired of looking like a goof, sick of those pesky hunks showing you up time and time again? Try this foolproof curse. Yeah.
turns on his Virgin Chad memes and
Yeah.
the whole
He's
nice
like,
guys
"He's
finish
funny."
last angle, you know, it's like, so they come up with the goofiest plan. First off, they say it's a spell, which there's not a spell. They're
Yeah.
like, we have to cut Donkey Kong's hair off. The source of
They
his
use a
manly-
curse. It's a curse. And hold on.
They
Hold
said
on.
spell too.
We're missing something here.
Yeah,
Number
yeah,
one,
spit it out.
K. Rool is like, we got to stop Donkey Kong. We got to give him a curse. And he presses this like James Bond villain button in this magical.
This library.
Yeah, you're spending all your funds on curses? Build a bomb, dude.
Well, and the book that he needs just happens to be on the very last level. Like it has to come all the way down for the one book he needs.
Well, and also like to jump on the brain cell over here, like he's just like literally goes into like 2016 subreddit Elliot Rogers nonsense where he's just like, Donkey Kong has beautiful hair. We must cut his hair.
That's the source of
His
his
chin
power.
is too square. The ladies
I
will
hate
not.
it. Did you see him? And I also put Disney might want to hit a lawsuit on these boys because it literally looked like the Jungle Book when it's like lifting those people up. I was like, what?
Also, look at the writing in the book. It's just gibberish.
It's just gibberish.
Yeah.
I was like, they didn't even try to make it look like another language. It's
right.
just like, just spam the keyboard, capitalize a couple letters here and there.
Like, we're not being bothered with this. But by the way, this whole angle of cutting the hair off turns into, again, to point the backpack of Chris's James Bond. Let's spend too much money on the goofy stuff. They build a lifelike candy robot to
Oh
go
man,
cut
yeah.
Donkey Kong's hair, which I have. Which was one of my favorite lines of the entire episode. Is there's
We're getting ahead here. Hold on.
No,
This
this is it. It goes right into that. It goes goofy villain plot, and then it goes right into DK and Diddy in their hut, all proud of themselves, right? And this is where you get introduced to Donkey Kong, his love for candy, right? So he's all like talking about the love. I love candy. I wish I could be with candy. Which I have Diddy saying something that makes me question Diddy just a little bit. He goes, you can't have fun with a girl like we do. I'm like, boy, what's your
Yeah,
angle here?
well,
Like,
it's-
what-
I think you're looking at this all wrong. Okay, King K. Rool, pure incel, right? Which inherently makes Diddy the light. We know incel's pure evil. Diddy's the light. He is volcel. He's voluntarily celibate. He just wants to hang out with his bro. He even tells, listen, don't use up your man juice on this lady. Okay, we
Wait,
got to do bro things.
That gets ruined in a few episodes, but we'll get there when we get there.
Okay.
So anyway, so they're having that. Of course,
Cranky shows up out of nowhere.
yeah, but oh, okay. The goofiest scene in the show or this episode is Cranky randomly, no reason, just expositioning on the Barrel Works assembly line.
Yes,
and
yes.
doing
Oh my
that.
god.
And then we get introduced to Candy and Bluster, who is Donkey Kong's sort of like rival, not like a villain, but he's just like after Candy, and he's like the rich boy of the island because he owns the barrel factory, which is about the only tie-in to the games we really get. Is remember, there's barrels in the games, therefore that's similar, right?
There's like similar universe.
Yeah, Bluster, by the way, is a giant perv, and I can prove that here. It says
Sexual harassment.
Candy, yeah, which is Candy's boss is Bluster, which was creeping on her. She's like, I don't want the cake that Bluster gives. Of course, it's a banana cake, right? You got it.
Happy birthday. Banana cream, your favorite.
And so, he says, I don't want your cake. I'm watching my figure, which Bluster responds,
Yeah.
don't worry, I'll watch it for you. I was like,
Rejected. Watching my figure.
Don't bother. I'm watching it for ya.
I don't think so.
oh, dog. Like, oh my
God.
God, of
Can
course.
we talk about 1 second?
Yeah.
That Bluster looks like a combination of John Waters, Louis Anderson, and Don Kong Van Damme if they were mixing a Donkey Kong 64 engine.
And it's just so pale and scary looking. I'm like, this boy.
It's and shiny, like I hate it.
Yeah, and his just monobrow hair combo he got going.
Yeah,
it's just
great.
It's
So
just a
good.
nightmare. But
He looks like
okay,
John
so-
Waters. He really does.
So literally, Cranky does this whole random thing on the assembly line, and guess who does it? 15 seconds later,
Donkey Kong,
Donkey
baby.
Kong does the same goof over and
Exact
over.
same thing.
Except I put this one actually made me throw up in my mouth because he goes, sorry. Right before Donkey Kong comes on the assembly line, another banana pun. It was banana cake, it was banana cream frosting, and then it's don't worry, I'll watch your figure, and then instantly it's want to go back to my place at the Copa Banana. I was like, I'm done. I can't do this.
Yeah.
It's like rapid fire. It's like insulting my intelligence. So we get Donkey Kong coming down there, the same thing, doing weird. Of course, seriously, he has a banana bouquet, which I don't.
Happy birthday, Candy.
You can't be serious. I try to do nice things, but
I brought you these. Ooh, I was gonna get you a cake, but I see you already got.
Think is a thing. I'm no expert, but there comes a banana bouquet. So naturally, it's a kid show, so they start singing, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, here comes the song," which is one of the worst of the series. Sometimes they're pretty fire. Most of the time, they're this, and it was a true abomination. I don't know if you have anything to say about the song. I just thought it was bad.
Wait, which song? The Candy?
Yeah,
Oh,
the
yeah.
candy. Yeah.
The Candy song? That was when she was at that was when they just finished cloning her. That wasn't even at the factory.
You're right, and I jumped here because I really only wanted to talk about like the major points that made me write something down because like there is filler, it's a show, and
Well, I really quick want to go back to the factory because in terms
go
of
ahead.
like plot hole wise, or not even plot hole, but just like I literally watched the scene, like Chris said earlier, I rewound it like 4 times to try and understand. When DK comes down, she tells Bluster, "Oh, I don't want the cake" or whatever, and they put it on the conveyor belt. It goes down the conveyor belt and it goes like somewhere, and we see it like stop. Like Bluster stops the machine.
Oh, yeah.
DK shows up, and then she's like, Donkey Kong. She's all excited to see him, and then it like cuts to DK, and we hear like a, and you turn around, and all of a sudden the cake is on Candy's head, and she's like,
But I see you already got.
Yeah.
she's like, every time you're here, something goes wrong, and it's like, how did the cake even end up on your head?
Bluster like hit her with the cake. It's like,
That's
yes,
like the-
committed
yeah.
sexual assault and just regular assault, I guess.
Like we have zero explanation as how the cake ended up on her head, and then why does she blame it on DK? Like every time you're here, something goes wrong.
Right.
And she just, I don't understand how she threw that all on DK right away. Like literally
Instantly.
2 seconds prior, she was
Mad
all
at
excited,
it.
like, "Oh my God, you're so here! Like I'm so happy. It's my birthday." And then you're like, "Every time you're here, there's something goes wrong, or whatever." But no, going back to what you said, that song was absolutely terrifying,
Oh,
and
so
I don't understand. Again, no explanation whatsoever as to how they had the technology to clone her. Like it wasn't even like
It
we have a
wasn't
piece
even-
of her hair, or we have her,
Yeah.
like it was like
just
no,
was
like
like,
we
here's
just
this
made one.
No, it's a robot. It's
I
a
know it's like a
but-
robot, but it's like
It's perfect.
I don't
though.
know.
It's like, and she has the voice, but they put that kind of like layered.
yeah,
Mhm.
it's
to to it. And...
It's like doubled up a little
Hold
bit,
on,
but
hold on.
that's
This just like doubles down on the point that King K. Rool is pure incel because he makes a sex robot.
Yeah, right. And I also put King K. Rool was thick before it was trendy.
that's
Also,
true.
His evil laugh is actually good. I actually like
I
his
think
evil laugh.
he is the best voice in the show. I think he could, him and Cranky. I think like Diddy as the Weasley friend is pretty funny at times because it's just.
I
so
like
over
Diddy.
the top. Yeah, it's so.
Diddy
over the
was
top.
hands down my favorite character.
Mhm.
Like in terms of
my
design,
favorite
voice,
as a
and
kid.
everything.
But Diddy Kong is my favorite Nintendo character, so I'm biased. I must have.
Okay, hold on here. So we get done with the song, right?
Yep.
And then we immediately go to DK, Chad DK, I'd like to add, chatting up in his mirror. He's flexing in his mirror.
Yeah.
And he's like,
Hey, little
I
buddy.
don't know how to deal with rejection, bro. I don't know how to deal with this. And then who comes a knocking? Who comes a knocking?
Robot Candy.
Robot Candy. What
Stupid,
happened?
sexy Robot Candy.
Hmm.
So that there's a lot of things in this show that make you question your existence, question why you're here, and that's half the fun. But I will say this one made me absolutely pause, watch it about 10 times because it's like,
Yeah.
again, a little kid show, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's for children, and then they bust out a line like this. So the whole plot, King K. Rool sends in stupid, sexy Robot Candy to steal or cut off Donkey Kong's hair to steal his power, right? And we get a gem of a line like this, mind you, kid show. She starts talking really fast, which I had to watch it a ton, and I devious. I know they did this on
He's like
purpose.
snippy, clippy.
No, I have it right here. It's like this. So she's talking all fast, and it's like, I need to do this, and Donkey Kong's like, what? And she goes, snip, snip, gonna clip, make you my sweet and sexy chimp. And I'm
What?
Snip, snip, gonna clip. Make you my sweet and sexy chimp.
like, remember, for kids. And then, literally, this is said, and Donkey Kong sits there with a face like, oh, like he just creamed his banana. So, I just was like, I can't believe this. Also, they said Congo Bongo, I think 4 times in that scene. 4 times they said Congo Bongo. I was like, I'm gonna die. I can't do this. So that's that. Donkey Kong gets his head shaved, and he turns into a wimp. The same thing that he used to impale Diddy's spine out of his body, the elevator punch. He can't even do it anymore. And then stupid, sexy Robot Candy goes over and, like, Hadoukens it. It's like, and I'm like, okay, I guess.
Yeah, he has a pretty thick fade, though.
Solid visual comedy. The fact that his head shape is the shape of his hair.
Yeah, that's
That was
good
like
stuff.
the best bit out of the whole episode.
Little, like,
I
flip,
was
too.
like, oh my god, like his head is just the shape, like the top of it like split a little bit.
I know. It's like, it's so weird.
Well, dude, hold on. He does he have a hair fetish? Because he's like, oh, okay, this is great, wow, and he
He
shaves.
doesn't have a hair
he's like-
fetish. He's just
and he's
at
in there,
this
he's
time.
touching his bald head, and he's like, this is good. I don't know how it looks, but I like it.
He's trying to
trying to
date
suck up to Candy, yeah.
This guy, he's thinking too
No,
hard.
dude,
Like, I know
dude.
this show's got some pervy lines.
He's
in it.
like, I have 3 notes of research.
Yeah, you don't know anything. So let's move on. King K. Rool goes back to steal the crystal coconut, right? This time it's a little bit different because Chad does not have his Oakleys, and he does not have his source of power, bruh. So King K. Rool goes in there. I also put don't bald shame us for some reason because they make fun of his hair, and I thought that was not
Yeah,
nice,
Cranky's
you know?
bald. What the heck?
Yeah,
Bluster.
King K. Rool gets in there. Donkey Kong's just like throwing little wimpy shots at one of the
No,
best gremlins.
It's Crusher, his big,
Crusher, which is
heavy,
one. His,
who also has the mind of a child,
he has child's brain, yes.
and he is also Ludwig Borga from 1993 WWE Survivor Series,
Ah.
the Finn pretending to be a Russian.
That's great. Anyways, so thanks for that. So they get thwarted. They actually steal the crystal coconut. I think a little too early for the villains to actually steal it. In my honest opinion, not like nitpicking. I think like you're building this to be like the superpower thing, and it gets stolen in the first episode. A little weird, but
Like
I
10
digress.
minutes in?
Yeah, like I digress. Like literally, it's about like 14 minutes. But I have another hilarious line because
Damn, my bad.
Cranky's all like dogging DK because 1, he's bald, and 2, he just got his butt whipped. And DK responds with, ever since Candy cut my hair and wanted me to make her
My
little
love slave?
What happened? Ever since Candy cut my hair and told me she wanted to make me her little love slave.
down.
For kids. And so that's that.
He's like, I'm a little subworm. Please stomp on me. Lick your feet, please, Candy.
Yeah,
Thank you.
man. Yeah, and so like it gets a little goofy. They introduce Funky from the game,
game.
and everything. And he's kind of cool. He's kind of weird because he has glasses, but they make him like his eyes, so when he like emotes, the glasses get all big and frightening. And I'm like, but he does make a pot reference in here. I don't know if you guys caught that. He flies because they're like, okay, Diddy,
The yellow mellow, dude.
and
Yeah.
Donkey are like, we need to get him yoked, bruh. Chad, where's your roids, bruh? Where's your Monster Energy, bruh? He's like, I don't drink Monster anymore. I drink Bang. Don't you get it? Like, so they take him to the Bang orchards, and he goes. They're all flying the plane, and he's like, mellow yellows, look at him down there. And I said, I'm up to your tricks, Funky. And he says one that's so blatantly egregious later in the show. We'll get there, don't worry. So, yeah, I also have a timestamp here of 17 minutes and 18 seconds. Bluster is literally out here cross-eyed in, like, the Cranky's, like, hut. He's just, like, standing there like this. And then he opens his eyes all big and
It'll still work. Move on it.
turns around. I'm like, yikes. They were in the edit room and are just like, fuck it, let's go.
Yeah,
Let us
dude.
slide. Let us
Dude.
slide.
The thing about the eyes that kills me is like you could tell they didn't want to animate it because there were times where the character would be talking and they'd be like just close their eyes all of a sudden. The eyes would be closed for like
Way too long.
3 or 4 seconds. They'd be like, hey, Diddy Kong, I'm gonna do this and I need some bananas. And like all of a sudden their eyes will open again.
It's weird because you can see the like geometry of their eyes, like a perfect circle, which is like placed in the body halfway through, but their eyes almost move like chameleons, and they're like,
Yeah, they're always going all over the place.
yeah.
It's a bad time. So like we're gonna wrap this up here. Just keep rolling along. So we get back to the abandoned, you're not welcomed cave of the Kremlins and King K. Rool, right? I might want to point out again, DK killed all the Kremlins early in the episode, and we have proof in this episode that is true. Yet there's more Kremlins here now in the army than there ever was at any point in the show.
I mean,
Which
they
is-
made a robot candy, so
Makes
They
sense.
Right? They could do any.
General Clump is also. Oh,
Did
hey,
you
by the
hear?
way, our mortal enemy just got his strength back. Also, Bluster Kong, like, what does he do? Like, oh no, I'm getting ahead. But like, yeah, he's just like, oh, hey, King K. Rool, you know that guy who's gonna stop us? Well, yeah, he's got all his power back. Whoops, I forgot. I'm glad you made this speech in front of everybody. Sorry.
Please tell me you liked, and please, I forgot the timestamp. Go back when he's like giving a speech. One of the sub worms of the Kremlin crowds literally was like, "Go King K. Rool." I was like, where's that coming from? Hey, what the heck is that, my boy?
Hey, do you have a timestamp for that random part? Again, just random exposition where Cranky's like, "Time for my potion," something, and it's literally like 2 seconds where it like shows him and he's like, this thing drops down in front of him. It's like a
that's from the
desk.
games. That's from the games. It's like a pretty decent ode to the games.
I didn't timestamp that one, but
But
It's
I was like-
1606.
It's just like it's literally like 2 seconds though, and
Yeah.
that's what killed me. Was like it's like it just cuts from something else who's like time for the potion, and then it drops down, and then it cuts to something else with of course a banana peel transition, their go-to transition
hold
here.
on.
which I like that one. Hold on.
Yeah. So he makes the potion and then he gives it to Bluster, and him and Candy gotta go find DK, right? And
Yeah.
Bluster's like, "Oh, I'm real thirsty. Oh, jeez." And he says something that I actually wrote down because I was so mad when he said it. He's like, "It's hot. I'm sweaty. There's sand in my shoes." He's not wearing shoes.
Yes,
Like,
yes.
what shoes? He has like little dog. His slippers or whatever is the tuxedo covered.
It's like a
they're-
Yeah,
tuxedo on top
it's
of
the
his clothes.
spats. It's spats from a tuxedo.
He's
I
wearing
literally, he
spats on
said,
his
in
feet.
my
I'm like,
shoes,
oh
and I
my
looked
God.
straight down at his feet. I was like, there are no shoes on your feet.
No, that true.
His feet are like halfway in frame.
He's
You can just like see the
"Okay, can I
top.
drink this potion that made me or something. Like, oh please.
Oh, what about this? Bluster just don't give a shit. He was all like, "Oh, DK's gone, gonna die. He's weak now. Whatever. I don't care. Now it's my time to shine. I'm top
Yeah.
dog of the island."
Then he
Which is a
pours it.
reoccurring
The
thing.
bananas healthy. It makes absolutely no sense.
Which-
He's
Yeah.
like, Diddy goes, "There's bananas everywhere." But
Yeah.
there's bananas everywhere.
Dude, it was like they spilled the potion on the floor in like one huge tree. She's like, it's the biggest banana tree I've ever seen. And then all of a sudden it cuts to them and they're like, you never see that tree again. And all of a sudden Diddy's like, look, there's more bananas back. Like, it
And
didn't
he's
tell
like
us.
completely full. He's like, please God, not one more. And they're
He's
like,
all
no,
happy,
you can do
like,
one more.
Not one more banana.
Not another banana, guys.
I can't do it, little buddy. Which little buddy is my favorite Donkey Kong saying in the show, and he says it all the time to Diddy, of course. But.
Also, they just jump into like King K. Rool's thing. What even is a hideout in this world? There's no hideout.
Like, where are they?
Oh man.
No, he like runs in there. It's like, okay, can we talk about the worst scene in movie history? Because it kind of reminded me of this. The worst scene, in my opinion, in any movie ever, low budget, no budget, high budget, medium budget, is in the movie Four Brothers. And they're on the ice.
Well, is it what he's in
they're
the
like, dude, I'm gonna beat him. I'm gonna whoop Mark Wahlberg. And they're like, where is he? We all drove out here on the middle of this frozen lake with this fog hiding us. And Marky Mark rolls out of the mist and he's like, time to whoop some ass. That's what Donkey Kong does. He's like, they're like, ha, see, nothing here. And he's like, oh, did you mean me? Strolls right into the secret hideout. I'm like, boy.
Then he beats up Crusher. Yeah. And then he punts the most valuable object in the world.
Because it's the most powerful weapon ever, so high in the air, and somehow it perfectly lands back in its secret hiding spot.
Yeah.
Oh, and it like bounces too, and it doesn't break. Nope. Like literally, I was sitting there like all concerned, like, oh, like it's gonna shatter. It's like, nope, it's just fine.
And
also, it looks like a coconut. It looks like a disco ball egg.
Yeah, it literally looks like something you'd see in like Game of Thrones. Like it looks like a dragon egg.
I'm gonna give him this though because we're wrapping this up here, and mind you, bear with us. It's our first episode. We've had some technical issues, so I know my weirdly symmetrical hands have been on the screen way too long. But I will say the in gag, as tired as it was, I said
it was funny.
It was kind of funny. Got me. The old switcheroo. They had the old robot, stupid, sexy robot candy, and then the actual candy. And Donkey Kong was like getting a gift from both of them. Why would the robot give him? I don't know. Why not? But he's all like, I know which one to go to. I'm gonna go to the real candy. Oh, Jabron, I got smacked. Ooh, and then a weird robot head, and you're all.
Ryder me was like hoping that he was gonna be like, I know this is the real candy.
It's on Joel's TV right now. Look at it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's that scene. Wow.
I was like. I totally thought that like he was gonna be like, oh, I know which one's the real candy, and then like intentionally pick the fake one to have it like out itself. Yeah, but like nope, he just picked it, and I was like, okay, this is a show for 5-year-olds.
Can we talk about for like a split second?
We have 5 minutes to discuss, and then we're done. So
for a split second,
let's hear it.
The robot blows up, and Donkey Kong just does blackface. Like he just does blackface, and he's like. Dude, the smoke blows up. Here you go. Watch it on Joe.
Yeah, like literally when
it does black things, and you're like, and it literally leaves with the white around his head.
Yeah.
And you're like,
by the way, that whole scene where she was blowing up, the animation. I have it on it. It was frightening for sure.
Here you go, Joel. Talk.
I know it's like.
Yeah, I see it right.
You did blackface.
He's like, mammy. Oh my god, boy, this is bad. Yeah, that I don't know so much about. Like again, I thought the goof at the end was funny, but yeah, maybe done without that. I mean, I think you're looking too much into it to say he's being in blackface, but I mean,
I'm joking. Obviously, it's a show for children, but it looks bad.
Yeah, it's like, oh boy. But so let's go around. I will start with my thoughts of episode 1. I will give it a grade. I will say some favorite moments, some not so favorite moments. I'm gonna do this kind of quick. So I would give it a 5 out of 10. Honestly, I would say it's a pretty middle of the road show. I guess if I was in the appropriate age bracket, I probably would have thought it was way better, right? Looking back without nostalgia goggles on, I'm like, this is like not the best start, but it gives you like some glimmers of hope because there's like adult humor. There is some total off-the-wall jokes, but at the same time, like the songs, like if that was the only song you heard of the series, you'd be like, "Wow, please never do that again."
Don't ever do that again.
Like, you don't need to do that. But
there's so much more to.
I will say that was enough to get me to watch it again, especially if I was a kid. and I liked Donkey Kong, and I liked Nintendo. That was enough to get me watch at least one more time. So, Joel,
I think had I watched that as a kid, I absolutely would have loved it.
right?
I would have
agree.
absolutely adored that show. And I have zero sentimental value towards this because, again, I've never seen this at all.
Right. It means
That
nothing.
being said, I would probably say about 5 as well. There was enough there for me to be like, okay, I appreciate this for what it is.
Yeah, like it makes you laugh, but you're not.
yeah.
Like, oh, okay.
Favorite moment? I honestly think when he got his hair cut and the fact that his head was the shape of his hair, that just killed me. Like that was the joke that got me the whole thing. But yeah, that Candy song I could have absolutely done without. That was terrifying.
So bad.
It was so bad.
Chris, I caught that burp. What?
Yeah.
I'd probably say a 6 out of 10. I'll probably go a little bit higher than you guys. After doing like the research and stuff, I was like shocked by how influential this was. It's one of the first mocap TV shows.
It had to be, as far as like 3D animation goes. It started
Yeah.
in what, like 96?
98 to 2000.
Like that is, I mean, impressive. Like
It's
again,
really
we have
impressive.
discussed how the animation is frightening and stuff, but like literally sometimes it'll be like the most fluid, like especially when they're singing and dancing, it's super fluid, and then half the time it looks like the Kremlins have like shit in their diaper when they're walking.
Dude, the way they walk is terrible.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
But
You
go on,
know,
Chris.
basically that's it. That's all I got to say. But I got to wrap up. So can we wrap up?
No worries. So this has been our unnamed. I guess it's almost like a video podcast at this point because it ran on so long.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go through more episodes. I have a lofty goal of at least trying to do all 40. I have in my head right now 2 other shows we're gonna do for sure. So it'll be 3 series. If you liked it, if you like hearing us, my name's Connor of Impromptu Productions. So is Joel. Of course, our boy, the man, let's be real, the glue that keeps it all together behind the scenes, Joel. And then Chris, the living meme, the legend. And that's us. And we're out of here. I hope you enjoyed it. Look forward to more Donkey Kong Country. I don't know if you can or not, but you're gonna. We're out of here. Bye.